Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm your host, Cryptidmasterkd, and the terrifying creature that's devouring your livestock and haunting your dreams. And welcome to Cryptid Lore for a horror story from years gone by. In 18th century France, during a 3-year period, almost 300 people were killed and eaten by a creature with unholy appetite for human flesh. What it was remains a mystery to this day. One said it was as large as a cow, with claws the size of a man's hand. Was it a monster or a murderer? Join us today as we embark on the historical event of the Beast of Gevaudan. But first, a little intro. And see if you can guess this one. This is my new intro. Now that was an intro. Now, the Beast of Gevaudan's reign of terror began in the Gevaudan regions in 1764. A peasant girl was tending to her sheep. A peasant girl was attending to her herd of cattle when a terrifying beast bounded at her from the forest. But before its deadly fangs could get at her throat, her herd of cattle charged straight at it, sending it back into the woods. Back in the village, the young shepherdess told the horrifying story of the attack and described the beast as this. She says it was the size of a cow with large paws the size of a man's hand, a canine-like head, a huge body, and covered in red fur, and a long tail with a tuft of fur at the end. And supposedly it had a white stripe going down its belly. Now, the Beast of Gevaudan for this is a puzzling description. It's a puzzling description indeed. But whatever it was that these people were encountering, a predator was real. Now, the Beast of Gevaudan is no myth, people. Records and papers of the time are are deep in historical records that something was responsible for 300 killings in just 3 years. Not long after that first attack, dead bodies began to show up in the woods and hillsides of Gevaudan. The beast had been attacking tons of people. It had mostly a rare taste for women and children. Many of its victims were shepherds and shepherdesses. One man was found torn apart with fang marks around his body, and he was dismembered. And many accounts say that those who've seen the beast describe it as being able to walk on 2 legs and attack its victim at most ferocious speed. Now, the beast was indeed some sort of cryptid, but I will get to that in a few. Now, a few of the encounters people who have seen the beast and survived, I will tell you all about it. Okay? One such account, and the most famous encounters revolving the beast of Gevaudan, happened with a girl named Marie Andrefay. She and her sister were on their way to a neighboring farm when they were attacked by the beast. Marie managed to fight off the beast with a lance, stabbing it in the chest. It's then said that the beast put its paw up to its chest before running off. Now, this doesn't sound like a natural predator being able to put its paw up to its chest. And many of the dead, and listen to this, many of the dead bodies that were found, some say, were completely drained of blood. It seems the beast had a taste for this nutritious liquid. And here's the thing that's interesting. People of the time called it a name that I'm sure I described in one video, and that was the loup-garou, which is the name they gave for this beast. Loup stands for wolf, and garou means shapeshift. However, there are no accounts of this beast shapeshifting. But now, the attack with Marie was an interesting one. However, one such victim was not so lucky. One of the most interesting, tragic accounts of the beast was that of Pierre Chanteloup. His son was missing. He grew concerned when night fell, and his son had not returned home with their sheep. And when he went out to look for his son, he found among the sheep a horrifying sight. His son had been mutilated, torn apart. Pierre took his beloved son home, and as that night he was grieving for his son, he failed to notice at the window something was watching him. He he noticed the strange creature firing at it with his musket. The beast of Gevaudan fled, leaving its huge tracks behind. However, Pierre could still, Chanteloup could still hear the terrifying howl of the beast. Now, you have to keep in mind, my darlings, this was happening in a very tumultuous time during the. Before I get to that, another attack happened when a boy was playing hide and seek with his friends in the field around their around a local village in the Auvergne region. When all of a sudden the beast jumped on the boy, pinning him to the ground. And the beast pinned him to the ground, and the horrifying creature prepared to rip him to pieces. However, his friends ran to a local farmer to call for help. The brave farmer jumped on the beast, stabbing it with his pitchfork, and it is said that the beast let out a terrifying scream before running away as the villagers chased the beast off. And it's said that it ran on two legs. Now, keep in mind, my darlings, this was happening in a tumultuous time in French history. Much of the country was starving. The peasants loathed King Louis XV and were leaving the churches in rows of people. Now, the church, being the church, well, the church called the carnage as a sign of God's wrath, the work of God, hoping to bring people back into the fold. And it worked. Peasants from all over were returning to the churches, praying for deliverance from the beast. Praying for deliverance from the beast. Unfortunately, their prayers were unanswered. The attacks continue. After a long time, almost 2 years of terrible attacks, which almost occurred almost daily, dead bodies started arriving everywhere in the hills and countryside of Gevaudan. Finally, the story of the encounters caught the ear of King Louis XV, and fearing for his throne, King Louis placed a large bounty on the beast's head, dead or alive. When that didn't work, the king sent his royal gun bearer, Francois Antoine, to hunt the beast. After a pursuit that happened for months, after a great pursuit that lasted for months, Francois Antoine shot and took down a giant wolf and declared that this was the culprit. There was much celebration, and people felt that they could be safe again. But that didn't work. You see, the not long after that, the attack started up again. No, the attacks continued, and the beast continued its rampage. Now, there were many descriptions of the beast: a wolf the size of a cow, a dragon-headed dog, a, a loup-garou, a wolf man. Some people even said they saw the beast. And see, as I said, the attacks continued. However, even a militia was sent out to try and kill the beast, and that didn't work. And the attacks happened almost daily and became more erratic, I should say. Now, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. I'm a little bit nervous, okay? But anyway, not long after that, when the attacks continued, it became known as the time of death. However, it all came into an abrupt end in 1765. Oh wait, no, 1767. In 1767, a wolf hunter named Jean Chastel, who was one of the few people to own a gun and was known for hunting wolves, and had a whole bunch of trained dogs. He actually, after hearing stories of what the beast could be, he melted down silver bullets into his gun, blessed by a Bible, and melted from a silver cup, blessed by a priest. At 10:15 a.m. in the year of 1767, in June, a hunting party, Chastel found enormous tracks that he knew the beast could be near. A hunting party drove the beast into a clearing where Chastel waited. He had his gun at the ready, and by his side a Bible. He loaded the legendary metal thing that could kill a loup-garou, a silver bullet, into his gun. The beast, on its two hind legs, charged right at him. And Chastel fired a well-aimed shot straight for the creature, piercing the creature through the chest into its heart. The beast fell, and the beast of Gevaudan lay dead. Later, the people cut open the beast's stomach and found human remains, indicating this was the beast of Gevaudan. The beast of Gevaudan was dead. Later on, the people had the creature stuffed and presented to the king. And a man named Pierre Antoine de Batoine was decorated for exterminating the beast. And obviously he was a nobleman. So yeah, noblemen take all the credit. Anyway, after that, the attacks completely stopped. But the question is, where did they put the body of the beast? Where is it today? Who knows? Now, the question all of you are probably asking is just, what was the beast of Gevaudan? What did they shoot? What was it that Jean Chastel shot? Now, there have been several claims that it could have been a large wolf, rabbit wolf. It could have been a hyena that escaped from the zoo. But, however, the problem with this theory about the hyena is that the beast was too big and there were no records of any animals escaping from the zoo. Because, yes, King Henry kept a zoo of exotic animals, but absolutely none of them ever, had any records of escaping. And the attacks in the area that most cops and the people of the, cops have studied the beast of Gevaudan's behavior and the patterns of the attack. And get this, the attacks mostly were placed around the area where Jean Chastel lived. Could he have had a part of it? Did he know it was a werewolf or something? Because many people who saw back then claim the beast was indeed a legitimate werewolf. However, I have a theory that could solve all of this. Because in other parts of France, the other attacks similar had been occurring in other regions by huge mysterious beasts. So could the wolf have been framed? Or I believe I have the answer that no one ever thought to have in regards of history of the beast of Gevaudan. And that would be one of my favorite cryptids, the Dog Man. I believe, because what other thing about the beast is it only went for the humans and shepherds and shepherdesses. It didn't even go for the sheep or the animals the people were tending to, like a normal animal. So mostly it had a taste for human flesh. But my theory is that it could have been a subspecies of Dogman. I mean, think about it. A creature with huge wolf-like head, doesn't shapeshift, and yet walks on two legs. This indicates that it could have been a Dogman. Perhaps Chastel, in a plot to overthrow the king, raised a baby Dogman in secret and then released it, only for him to shoot it later to make him look like a hero. The mystery of the Beast of Gevaudan is one that's been around for over 250 years. And I want to do a video later on about an autopsy of what the beast could have been, the areas it attacked, and the history and theories that could be behind it. But for now, we're going to wrap up this video. But tell me in the comments. Sorry. What do you think where the beast was? Was it a monster or a murderer? Anyway, until our next video, which I will be doing on vampires, because someone in the comments once asked, are vampires a cryptid? And the answer is yes, sort of. And this Thursday we'll have a video going out about that. So in the meantime, like, comment, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. Leave a like and comment down below what you want next. And don't forget your Cryptidmasterkd. Peace out. Love you all.